Hello, welcome back to Cooking with Chris. Today we're making gravlax. Gravlax, if you don't know, is a traditional Nordic salmon dish which is cured using salt, sugar and dill. And what you do is you wrap it up in salt and sugar and you simply cure it in the fridge. Very expensive to buy. If you was to buy the amount we're making today online, which is 1.5 kilos, it would cost you in excess of £150. When you make it yourself, you make a considerable saving. This lovely salmon that I've got here, sushi grade, only cost me £22 from a fishmonger in Chapel Market in Islington. So let's get started and we'll make this. Very simple ingredients. I'm making it two ways, the traditional way, and I'm also doing one fillet with some whiskey. We'll start off with doing it the traditional way, using our salmon, and what we do is we put on a quantity equal 50-50 of salt and sugar, and I've used kosher salt and caster sugar, and I put a little bit of turmeric in here to add a bit of colour. Now what we do is we spread that over there and we just coat it evenly. And when we've done a little part of it, we're going to add some lemon juice. Don't want to completely cover it yet. So we'll put some lemon juice on there. And then we're going to put some lemon zest on there as well. Gives it a lovely little zing. Don't need too much because we've already got the juice. Okay, now the next thing, carry on with our sugar. Coat it all over, spread it evenly, and this will be what is actually cooking the fish. So that's that part done. And we spread that all over there. And that's the first part of our gravlax done. Okay, the next part we're going to do is our alternative way of doing the curing. With this one, I'm still going to use lemon juice, but I'm using a slightly different one. This is a Japanese one called yuzu, which is very strong, and I like that really, really tangy flavour of it. That's lovely. Now we add the salt and sugar cure again. Once again, we've got some turmeric in this one, and this is what is actually cooking your fish, or I should say curing it, but that's all done in the fridge. So we put that on there, and there we have it. And don't forget, on top of both of them, you put some dill on top. That gives it a real traditional taste. And just spread that out. The flavours will just automatically impair themselves on that. Right. Next thing to do is we have to cover this before we put it in the fridge. So put a piece of greaseproof paper over the top. Here's one I prepared earlier. And then we will put some foil on top of that as well. And we need to weight this down so that we squash all the flavours into the fish. So we put another tray on top of it that will fit there, and then we put something heavy on top. I've got a really heavy cast iron pot, and we put that on top, put it in the fridge, come back to it 24 hours later when we'll cut it and show you how it looks. Right, here are the ingredients that we need to make our mustard and dill sauce. Rapeseed oil, dill, caster sugar, white wine vinegar, lemon juice, Dijon mustard, sweet mustard, egg yolk, salt and pepper. Right, this is our mustard and dill sauce to go with our gravlax, which we've already prepared. Right, I've made a head start and I've already got the olive oil weighed out, and I've prepared the dill to go in there so we don't have to do that process. So the next thing we do is we add the ingredients into the thermomix. So we put our sugar in, then we will put our white wine vinegar. After that we put our lemon juice, then we put in our mustard. This is the sweet American mustard that goes in. After that we put in Dijon mustard. Then we put in 1 egg yolk. and then salt and pepper. Right, we'll just go forward on the steps that we've done, and we now put the lid on. And we turn this on to speed 4 for 5 seconds. Doesn't take long to do this step. We now keep the measuring cup in place, and what we do is we add the oil to the top, and what this does, it drizzles through the top of the lid. Okay, so we now do that. The oil has now emulsified, and we've added the dill, and we simply turn this on for 8 seconds onto speed 3, and that will then mix the dill up, and then once that's done, we're finished. We've made our lovely mustard and dill sauce. So here we are, that's done. And all that remains for us to do is to take the contents of this out, put it into a jar, put it in the fridge so that it becomes a little bit more solid before we use it. If we use it at the moment, it's very nice, but it's just a bit runny. So that's it, it's done. And that will go with our lovely Gravlax. This is part 2 of curing our salmon. We've taken the salmon out of the fridge, and we now see the results of what have happened for 24 hours. As you can see, there's lots and lots of liquid have come out of the salmon overnight. That's where it's been curing. Now we now take this off, and lots of juices have come out. One thing I forgot to mention yesterday, at the end of the curing, the part where I put all the salt and sugar on this one, I added in some whiskey to make this a whiskey cured salmon. What we're going to do now is take this over to the sink and rinse off the salt and the sugar from the salmon. So we'll take the salmon out, put it into the basket, ready to go over to the sink for washing. And this is really firmed up considerably. You can see that's quite stiff now compared to when we first got it out. Okay, we'll now move this over to the sink, and we'll give this a good rinse. What we're doing here is just rinsing off all the salt and the sugar and any other residue, taking off the dill. Okay, that's that done. Let it drain a little bit. Okay, we now take it over to the cutting board. Look at the amount of liquid that came out of that fish overnight. That's just 24 hours. Right, we've now brought it over from the sink, and we're going to dry off our cured salmon. As I said on the first part of the video, salmon like this is a Nordic dish, and it's usually served as an appetizer and can be served with potatoes or bread, or what we've made, our mustard and dill sauce. Now we're just going to cut a piece of this off just to see how it's come out and to see how it tastes. The traditional way would be to slice along like that, so you get thin slices like you see when you normally buy a smoked salmon in the supermarket. To make life easier, I haven't got the knife skills of a sashimi chef, is we just cut slightly at an angle across, and we get slices like that, very thin, and just one clean slice across and another, and the process goes on. Now you can of course eat this cold, or if you want you can take a larger chunk off and eat it hot. You just simply warm it up in the oven, and there we are. Now I'll just add some mustard and dill to that. And there you have it. Cured salmon at a fraction of the price of what you'd have to pay in the shop, with our mustard and dill sauce made in the Thermomix. Right, thank you everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please try to make this yourself because I'm sure you'll like it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, please subscribe and like the video. It does help. And Jack, thanks for all your efforts. Thanks for the great photography and the editing. See you all soon. Bye.